All right, Sofa Squad, it's time for us to do one of our dramatic readings. So go ahead and buckle up because this one should be interesting.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Only credentials we got up in here is my sass, and this sofa. Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get edition. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. That's a sofa. This is a Paul. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel, and if you're not new to the channel, guess what? My name is still Paul. Okay, so we are still talking about Erin Patterson. We are still talking about the Mushroom Massacre. We're still going over all the evidence coming out. Now in this video, we are going to be doing a read through. When I say we, it's just going to be me doing the read through. This is between, I'm just reading my notes here on it. This is between Detective Leading Senior Constable Stephen Eppenstall and Erin Patterson. So this is one of the, obviously the detectives interviewing her or whatever. So I'll do that. Now, if you follow me for a while, you'll know I tend to slip into like character voices and whatnot. So I have a really bad Australian accent that doesn't naturally come out, but my courtroom like, all right, Erin, what you doing? Usually comes out. Now my voice in my head, I have multiple of them, but the one for Erin, it always goes to the one in the video where she's like, I love them. I'm tragically heartbroken. So I might talk like that, but I'm also going to try and do normal so that you can actually hear what they're saying, right? But just forgive me. It's just how my brain works, okay? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Again, this is between Detective Constable Eppenstall and Erin. So the question obviously is coming from the detective. All right, Erin, do you agree that the time is now 4:41 p.m. by my watch? Yep. All right. Could you please state your full name and address for me? Erin Trudy Patterson, 84 Gibson Street, Leongatha. All right, Erin, I intend to interview you today in relation to the death of two people, being Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson. Before continuing, I must inform you that you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you say or do is being recorded and may be used in evidence in court. Okay, do you understand that information? Yeah? All right, I must also inform you of the following rights. You may communicate with or attempt to communicate with a friend or relative to tell that person of your whereabouts. Okay. You may communicate with or attempt to communicate with a legal practitioner. If you're not an Australian citizen or a permanent resident here in Australia, you may communicate with or attempt to communicate with the consular office of the country of which you are a citizen. Okay. Do you understand all of your rights? Yep. Okay. Do you wish to exercise any of these rights before the interview proceeds? And then it says no audible reply. I need a verbal, no, sorry, response. No, I don't. Ugh. That's all right. Now, I'll just confirm with you that you've had an opportunity to speak to a solicitor. Yep. Before this interview commenced. Yep. Okay, and you're happy with that? Yep. All right. Now, I'll also remind you that your rights are with you and for the entire time you're with us, okay? Okay. All right. So if you decide later that you want to exercise any of those rights, yeah, you just let me know and sure, we'll do that, all right? Now, what is your age and date of birth? 48? 30th of the 9th? 74? Are you an Australian citizen? Yes. Are you a permanent resident here in Australia? I was born here and I live here. I'm a resident of Australia. Yeah. Is that what that? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Are you of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent? No. Okay. Well, what's your mobile number, Erin? Beep, 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 beep. Do you have an email address? Yes. Yeah. It's ESH. Yeah. And then it continues. All right. Now, as we discussed earlier, we've been together for a few hours now. It was after 11:30 that we came to your house today. We want to discuss the deaths of Heather Wilkinson and Gail Patterson today with you. Yep. When we were at the house earlier, we discussed that you hadn't really been kept in the loop, and it had come as news to you that Heather and Gail had both passed away. All right. Following eating at your house, Donald, Ian, Gail, and Heather all became so ill that they ultimately ended up in the intensive care unit, both at Dandenong Hospital and moved to Austin Hospital. All right. Following that, they had a deterioration in their condition, and that they became so ill that their lives have failed. All right? Okay. Donald underwent a transplant last week. Indistinct response from Erin. Okay, and his condition is still extremely critical of last report, okay? Heather and Gail have passed away, all right? In relation to Ian, I don't have a current prognosis in relation to where he's at. As of late yesterday, the diagnosis isn't great for him either, all right? We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. Do you understand, why we're asking these questions? The other, conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not ill. Okay, so do you understand why we're interviewing you today? Yep, I do. Yeah. But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before. And I've been very, very helpful with the health department through the week because I wanted to help that side of things. Yes. As much as possible. Yep. Because I do want to know what happened. Yeah. So I've given them as much information as they've asked for and offered up all the food and all the information about where the food came from. Nah, I fully understand. All right. Yeah. All right. At the house, and I must say for the record again, you were very helpful at the house, and you did point out a couple of things for us that will help us with our investigation. Mainly the fruit platter that you said Heather bought for you, and the gravy in the fridge and the pantry that you said was from the night, and you'd kept on advice from the health department. Yep. So thank you for that. You also pointed out a recipe book on the counter, and you referred to me to page 250 odd, a recipe for beef Wellington that you indicated was the recipe that you cooked, okay? Okay, all right. Well, on what we saw at your address in Leongatha, all right, we didn't see a lot of food that was from Asian grocers or Indian grocers or those kind of stores. Did you look in my fridge? I've got a lot of Asian cooking. Okay, stuff in my fridge. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, are we likely to find more of that kind of stuff in your Mount Waverly address, do you think? Or no, because I did a big clean out of the pantry and fridge last time I was there. Okay, because I've got to sell that place. Okay, all right. So the pantry and fridge there, will be, empty. Okay, so you want to sell that place. All right. Well, earlier at the house, we had a conversation about that place, and you told me that you were kind of holding on to it because your son would be going to uni in a few years and the like, But so the thought when buying it was, because I went to Monash Uni and it's close to Monash Uni, and back when I bought it, well, I had thought that redacted out. So a house near Monash is of no use. Okay. And now that the kids are going to school, redacted, which is a long way from home, I've been having thoughts of selling Mount Waverly and buying something, redacted. Instead, so we've got a house, redacted. All right, no problem. Obviously, we've got concerns in relation to these mushrooms and where they came from. Okay, is that something you've done in the past, foraging for mushrooms? Never. Or anything like that? Never. All right. Do you preserve foods or anything like that? No. Have you ever dehydrated food or anything? No. Like that? Okay. All right. You've described to me relationship with your ex-partner, Simon. All right. I'd like to understand why you had his parents and his uncle and auntie over for lunch on the 29th of July. Because I've got no other family. So they're the only support I've got, okay, left, and they've always been really good to me, and I want to maintain those relationships with them, in spite of what's happened with Simon, okay, I love them a lot, they've always been really good to me, and they always said to me that would support me with love and emotional support, even though Simon and I were separated, and I really appreciated that, okay, because my parents are both gone, my grandparents are all gone. They're the only family that I've got. And they're the only grandparents that my children have. And I want them to stay in my kid's life. And that's really important to me. And I think Simon hated that I still had a relationship with his parents, but I love them. Nothing that's ever happened between us, nothing he's ever done to me will change the fact that they're good, decent people that have never done anything wrong by me, ever. So we've been told that on the 31st of July, so 2 days after the lunch, you went to Leongatha Hospital, okay? And that you were only there for about 5 minutes and then you left. Can you explain why you went there for 5 minutes. Yeah, because I just went there thinking I needed a couple of bags of saline because I was really dehydrated. Okay. And they said, we want to admit you and send you to Melbourne. Yeah. And when you've got animals at home, yep, and children who have multiple after school activities, well, you can't just be told to drop everything and you're off to Melbourne overnight. So I had to go home and feed the animals and pack my daughter's ballet bag. Yep. And I did that. Yeah. And I went back. Okay. Who did you speak to? So I walked in. Yeah. And there was like, I don't think they were a nurse. It was like, I don't know. Could have been an enrolled nurse, or there was like a helper person in the triage room. All right. Yeah. And she says like, are you okay? And I said, well, no, I have to run to the toilet. I've got diarrhea. And she wasn't quite sure where it was. And so she went and found out and showed me where it was. And then she said, I'll go and find someone. I'll get a nurse or a doctor for you. So I went to the toilet and I came back out and I was waiting in the triage area. And then a doctor came, Dr. Webster. Yeah. And he said to me, sorry, we're going to be a little while because we've got a couple of critical patients in the hospital. And I said, that's fine. Don't worry about me. I'm just a gastro case. I'm not urgent, obviously. And he said, oh, what's your name? And I said, Erin. And he said, oh, we've been expecting you because other people that you ate with on Saturday were sick. Yeah. And he said, can you come through? And I said, sure. And I came in. And then he said to me, I can't say the exact words, but he said something along the lines of, we've got concerns that they've eaten death cap mushrooms. Okay. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, that's what we think they've eaten. Yep. And then he started asking me about what food I served, and I told him. All right. I understand you went down to the hospital and got treatment in that. What kind of treatment did you get? Well, they hooked me up to a drip. For a while, yeah. They said that because we're concerned, so Dr. Webster had to leave. I think he was at the end of his shift and he passed it on to another doctor, Dr. Foote, and she said to me, because the concern is that everybody's eating something that hurts your liver. We need to give you this, protective medicine, And so there was saline and acetyl, something or other, I don't know. That's all right, what it was, but she said, we need to give you this and then put you in an ambulance up to Melbourne where they can give you more. I don't know what the word is, more where they can care for you better. Yeah. So I got saline and this other stuff and I went in an ambulance up. Okay, how long you were in hospital for down in Melbourne? Till Tuesday afternoon. Okay, so Monday to Tuesday. Yeah, all right. And again, for full disclosure so you understand, we've obtained warrants in relation to medical records for everyone involved in this. Okay, and so we will get medical records in relation to your treatment there as well. Sure. Okay. Good. You were at home and present when we did a search warrant today, all right? I know you weren't watching everyone all the time. Yep. But I just wanted to go through on tape some of the stuff that we've, and like I said, we'll give you a copy of this. Sure. Everything we've seized. Kitchen, far left bottom drawer. Instruction manual for a Sunbeam Food Lab electronic dehydrator. What's that in relation to? Do you know anything about a dehydrator in your house or no? Okay, do you own a dehydrator? No. All right. Okay. I've got manuals for lots of stuff I've collected over the years. I've had all sorts of appliances and I just keep them all in. Okay. Yeah. All right. When did you own a dehydrator? I don't know. I might have had one years ago. Okay. What did you use that for? Like when I first got the Thermonix, I got really excited about like making everything from scratch. Okay. And I did a lot of, like everything from scratch ingredients and I did a lot of that. So, I could have had something like that. Okay. That though, kitchen bench located against the wall. Recipe 10 Eats books. Okay, I'm not sure again. That's that recipe book. That's the same book that the Wellington recipe came out of. Yeah, all right. From the fridge, we got the fruit salad platter, which you pointed out. And in the fridge in the butler's pantry, we got the white jug containing the brown, liquid, which you pointed out as well, all right? Yeah. So thank you for that. From the study, we took the computer, we took another computer, and we took another computer, All right, in the lounge, we grabbed an iPad and a black and red case. From Son's room, we've grabbed a computer. Oh, that's, an old one I had up on top of his cupboard. Okay, Yeah, that's a very old one. All right, so if I had to prioritize, that would be the bottom of the list. I don't think anyone's powered that one for a very, very long time. Okay, all right. No dramas? All right, so we'll pop that one at the back of the list. All right, a black mobile phone. I think that's gonna be son's phone, which again, I'll prioritize tomorrow for you. Thank you. Upstairs, bedroom 2, far left backward, towards backyard. It says Erin's bedroom, so I assume that's yours, an Apple iPad. I don't own any iPads, so they would be tablets, Android tablets. Okay, there's a Samsung tablet listed below, located on top of the bed. Yeah. Okay, maybe they've got it wrong. It's not an iPad, it's some, other tablet, daughter's Samsung tablet, an Oppo mobile phone, and your mobile phone. All right, so the Oppo phone is son's. Yeah. And so you said a black mobile phone earlier. Yeah. So that would be a Nokia. It's a really old Nokia that I've got for, like, you know, if you break your phone. Yeah. Yep. And you've got to send it away for repair, and you need, so I've got this like really, old thing, so that's fine. Yeah. Son's Oppo. Yeah. And your mobile phone. Yeah. Would be the top. Yeah, top, yeah. And then we're talking about his school, his work, school computer, yeah. Followed by the GeoForce one. Yep. Okay, so then it starts with him talking to like maybe the other person there with him. He says, David, is there anything you would like to? And then enters the chat, Detective Senior Constable Martin O'Cade. Oh, I've just one thing I wanted to clarify to make sure I've got it right. You obviously would have seen me taking notes. When you went to the Leongatha Hospital and you said you went in there, and you got shown to the toilet, but you said you had to go home to pack stuff, and your daughter's bag, that sort of thing, and feed the animals. When you had the conversation with Dr. Webster, was that when you first went there or afterwards? I don't remember. Okay, I don't remember. Now we're back to Detective Eppenstall. That's all. The other thing I should mention that, again, to your credit, police went around to your house on that morning. Yeah, yep, on the 31st, that's right. Yep, and they were obviously responding to a hospital call to check up on you. Yeah, and they spoke to you on the phone and you gave them the PIN code for your gate, correct? And directed them to the bin where there was some leftovers, correct? What are those leftovers that you directed them to? That was the uneaten food from the lunch. Okay, all right. Yep, so you helped them in getting that. So it could be sent. Because my kids ate the meal too. Yeah. But there was stuff that was left over. Yeah. And it went straight into the bin. And so when I went to the hospital and they said they were concerned that everyone ate some contaminated food, I said, well, there's leftovers in the bin. You can have it. Yeah. Feel free to look through it. Yep. And I said, I'll go and get it if you want. And they said, that's fine. You need to go on a drip. We'll call the police. And I said, well, that's fine. Just let them. No, I need to give them the PIN code. Yep. So they did that, and a bag of food appeared a bit later. Yep. So thanks again. Thank you for helping us locate that. That's fine. All right. Anything else, Dave? Nah. All right. Any questions at the moment? No. All right. Erin, do you agree the time is now 5:30? Yes. PM by my watch. Yeah. All right. I'm going to suspend the interview for now. Okay. So, a couple of things. So, we're seeing in prime time, right, how she lied to them about the food dehydrator. Okay. I mean, straight up line. Now, you saw how the cops thought you were being helpful in A, B, and C. But when it comes to like the obvious stuff of the food dehydrator, it was like, oh, girl, you're all up on video with that dehydrator. She might as well have entered doing jumping jacks, tossing the dehydrator up and catching it each time she spun around, right? And then doing a little tap dance. Walking up to the camera, right? Holding the thing. And she's got a dehydrator. Okay. I mean, we are talking obvious here. We are talking so obvious. Excuse me. So I cannot, y'all. It's so fascinating looking at the way the two cases play out in the court systems, like where we get all this information first, right? Where it's as it's playing out versus getting it afterwards. I think the da-da is obviously greater in this way, right? It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I almost prefer it. Okay, I almost prefer it. It's left like a little bit of the mystery there. But it also, I mean, and I'm going to have to admit this, it makes it easier to form, when I say to form an opinion, obviously this is different. It's from the sofa, I get that. But like, it kind of takes out any of the other stuff to allow you to say, okay, look, we're going to look at just like some of the facts of it. Because again, now you can see the stuff and be like, oh yeah, this is borderline completely obvious what happened. Now the people involved in it can see that, especially the medical staff and people of that nature, right? So while Erin's trying to be a little bit helpful and whatnot, it's like, girl, it's way too late for for that. So anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Now, Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, if you're not familiar with her channel, look it up. She's amazing. She and I did a read-through of this on my podcast channel. Well, we live streamed it from her channel, and I showed it on mine too or whatever. What I'm getting at is if you want to see me read this with two people, and Kathy is amazing. So she's so much fun, y'all. I mean, it was a blast to do. So check that out over there as well. You can find it on my podcast channel or on her channel as well. So that's it. If you could pretty please drop off weird cushions and little blue sofas for myself in the comment section, for Roscoe and Spirit, for Bo and Luke, and for you, the Sofa Squad, so we can sit here and do all this crazy stuff we do here at the Sofa Squad. And until we gather down there to do all that crazy stuff, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.